actually in the process of working on disbursement so that by the time we break, now,
honorable members, order, honorable members. Honorable members, the point is being made.
CS, Honorable Speaker.
Members, proceed, Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, the matter is uncontested. Everyone is in agreement. So just allow the Majority Leader to complete his statement.
Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, if members can allow me to finish, because as the Speaker has indicated, this matter is not contested by anybody, not even the Leader of Majority. That is why I took the liberty, even before the matter was raised before the House, because you all forget that I represent the people of Kikuyu, first and foremost. And I have said it numerously. I don't sit here to represent, I don't represent government. Neither do I represent the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury. I don't work for them. I work for the people of Kikuyu. And when it comes to an issue, when it comes to an issue where there is conflict, when an issue comes where there is conflict between a cabinet secretary, a principal secretary, a chair of a board, or even the CDF CEO, and the people of Kikuyu, the people of Kikuyu take greater precedence than anyone else. That is why I'm pleading with you, you allow me to finish, because what was I saying in conclusion? I have already engaged with the Cabinet Secretary, telling the Cabinet Secretary precisely that there is now a situation where there's a conflict of interest between his work as a Cabinet Secretary and the Principal Secretary in charge of the National Treasury, the Director General in charge of Accounting Services, who is in charge of disbursing money, the Principal Secretary in charge of National Planning, the CDF CEO, and the people of Kikuyu. And I indicated to the Cabinet Secretary that by Thursday listen, as the Leader of Minority said, without anticipating debate, without doing what? Without anticipating debate. Honorable Speaker, again without anticipating debate, members will note that the House Business Committee had slotted in a morning sitting on Thursday. And I indicated to the Cabinet Secretary that this House cannot proceed to go on recess on Thursday without clarity as to the exact date, time, when the money not will be disbursed, will hit your NG-CDF accounts at the constituency level. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, more important, Honorable Speaker, and I beg for members to listen, and it's easier to listen, Honorable Makilap, than shout from behind me. It is easier to lend me your ears and ask the Speaker. That is what happens in the August House. You don't shout from your seat. You request the Speaker to give you the mic, and you say what you want to say. More importantly, Honorable Speaker, the NG-CDF CEO has indicated to me that and the chair of the NG-CDF committee can confirm, we must act with equity so that no constituency is left behind. There are about 36 constituencies whose proposals are yet to be received by the CDF committee. And what we have requested, I was asked to also request the 36 members of parliament whose CDF committees. And let me repeat again, for the interest of those who are fond of going to court. It is not the members of parliament for the 36 constituencies. It is the 36 members of parliament to cause, in their oversight role, their CDF committees to submit proposals to the board so that they are not left behind. Lastly, I have indicated to the National Treasury and CDF that the availability or non-availability of proposals must not hinder disbursement, because what I listened to many members who came to my office from last week is what is bothering many of us, is money especially for bursary. And therefore, we have asked the National Treasury and CDF, they know what is provided for in law, the maximum for bursary. With or without the proposal, we must cause them to disburse at least up to that 40% for bursary, so that by the time our children are breaking from their Christmas break, we have processed the bursaries, or rather the CDF committees have received applications, processed bursaries, and they are ready to disburse those bursaries before schools open. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, the Cabinet Secretary is on his way back to the country, because we were speaking on Monday, yesterday, while he was preparing to get back from COP28. And upon his arrival, I should be able to give a progress report on that particular position, either tomorrow afternoon or latest Thursday morning, before we even consider going for a break. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Just give one more member, then we go to the CDF chair. Honorable David Ochieng, member for Ugenya. I've seen you had pressed your point of order.
No, thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Without shouting, you did press the intervention button.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, mine is just to agree with the minority leader and the majority leader. I don't think, Madam Speaker, should get to this every year. That this parliament sits, passes a budget, goes ahead to pass a supplementary budget, where Parliament even gets his money is cut, and then now we are proceeding to recess. No one knows when money will be given. No one knows when we'll have this money disbursed. And Mr. Speaker, this is the third year running where we have to beg for CDF money for our children, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I think this house is losing its teeth. This house is losing its sheen. This house is not what we used to be. I've been here in my third term now, Madam Speaker, and we've never had to ask the majority leader of this house to talk about CDF, Madam Speaker. And I believe, Madam Speaker, it's because also us as members, we've become weak. We've allowed the executive to do whatever they want to us. We must, as members of parliament, take our role seriously, especially. There's no day I've seen any committee sending a minister away. If you don't use your teeth, they become blunt. And everyone knows they're now blunt, you cannot do anything with them. And so much as we have pressure on the majority leader, I think it's on us as a body of parliament. We've allowed the executive to go away with too much. They now think they can get away with anything against us. It must be said this afternoon that, Madam Speaker, if anything happens to our children because they don't have school fees, it will not be because of the executive, it will be because of us as members of parliament. It is because of us failing to hold the executive to account when we need to. It's because of us hobnobbing with the ministers when they come here, kissing them, treating them like their kids. So I don't mourn for anybody. I mourn for us as a house, that the Honorable Wandai, the Honorable Ichung'wa here, we must be able to, this thing we are doing this afternoon, you know, like bulls. You'd have done this long time ago. Not today, not yesterday. You'd have done this even without it being brought to the floor. So our leadership, I believe, must take their role seriously as concerns the welfare of members and their constituents. And you know, some of these things, Madam Speaker, we know that if we don't do this, we'll keep going. This week, we are going for sports. We don't have enough budget for members to go for sports. Yet we did a budget the other day, we didn't put money for members to travel in there. We are now harassing the clerk to give us money which is not there because you don't budget rightly. Madam Speaker, I wish to say as I sit down that as members of Parliament, if we stop going to these offices and took our work seriously, we will get these monies on time. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
The chairperson, NGCDF committee.
Thank you, Madam
Honorable
Speaker.
Jared Okello, you
First
cannot
and
help
foremost-
me do my job.
First and
As
foremost,
long as you continue heckling, you will not get an opportunity. Just press the intervention button. Proceed, Honorable Chairperson.
thank you. First and foremost, Madam Speaker, I want to concur with the sentiments of the Majority Leader in terms of how we have approached this issue. One, I am a member of Eldama Ravine constituency, representing the people of Eldama Ravine before I became chair of the NGCDF. I want to thank the minority leader for bringing up this issue, because all of us, as a united house, we are able to deliver. But a divided house will not deliver. So I want to ask all of us to bear with us in the next today and tomorrow. The CS will have come, and we expect the money. I was with the board, and I can assure you. Yes, I know it is now. You know, I can also say now. You know that. I can also say now, because I have interest. It is for the people of my constituency who are more important than any other thing being in this house in terms of any hierarchy or any position which I hold. Madam Speaker, this issue must be addressed well, and we should not be begging anymore. I want to agree with also Honorable David Ochieng that it is the failure also of us as a house. It is a failure of us as a house that we pass money to the various votes, but when you go to the ground, there is no money, including this is not the only development which is there, apart from CDF, because it touches on every member. Other infrastructural activities which are supposed to deliver to Kenyans have not been addressed. So I want to say this is the first step, that we come in unison and agree that all our children are more important than any other thing from now going forward. So, and I want to ask those 36 constituencies who have not also delivered their proposals to come up with their proposals and deliver it to the NGCDF board. We need approximately 40% of that amount of money to cover bursary alone. So, in other words, with what we call administration and others, we need at least a minimum of 50%. Because we passed the first quarter and we are now on the second quarter, which we're supposed to have gotten the money this month. So I think you are right, but let us have it as we have all agreed that once the CS of Finance arrives, we should be able to get that money. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Okay, honorable members, like I said from the beginning, this is a matter that's uncontested. All members are in agreement. Both the leader of majority and minority are also in agreement. And those other members who have spoken, including the Speaker, and even those members who have spoken, they are all in agreement. I think I like the direction that was initially stated by the leader of majority, which was that before we go on recess, the cabinet secretary, Honorable TJ Kajwang, I have not completed the sentence. Honorable members, honorable members, honorable minority leader, we were just trying to confirm when the cabinet secretary can be here. Consult with the leader of majority when the cabinet secretary can be here, because members are walking out before they hear the answer. What's your point of order, minority leader?
The Honorable Speaker, I rise on a point of order.
Honorable members, you're denying yourself the opportunity of a solid answer. Honorable members, since everybody has spoken, we can move to the next order.
Order number 8, procedural motion, approval of a Thursday morning sitting.
You were attempting to respond to the... Would you like us to move to the, since we've already called out the next order? No, let's move to the, let's go to the, okay, honorable members, be calm. I already called out the next order because debate on that other issue has since expired. Let us proceed to our next order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to beg your indulgence to withdraw the procedural motion because of the way it was worded. And Honorable Speaker, we shall be consulting with the House Business Committee members.
We are going to
Therefore,
get there.
Honorable
Hold
Speaker,
on. He's
I
just
beg to
withdrawing
withdraw
that particular point of order. Then we'll procedural motion.
Therefore, Honorable Speaker, with your indulgence, I beg to withdraw the order listed as order number 8 on the procedural motion to a later time, Honorable Speaker.
No, the person who's supposed to have a point of order is Honorable Wandai, not Honorable Mbui. Proceed, Honorable Wandai.
Madam Speaker, I raise a point of order that the House has got no quorum, and therefore the House cannot proceed. Yes.
Honorable members, I direct that we ring the bell for 10 minutes. The bell is being rung. You can't have a point of order when the bell is being rung.
Well, the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Gladys Bose, has directed a quorum bell be rung for 10 minutes. This follows the lack of quorum in the House. This was after the leader of the minority party in the National Assembly, Honorable Opio Wandai, rose on a point of order, informing the Speaker that the House lacks the requisite quorum for the business of the day to continue inside the House. But what transpired before that particular occurrence of lack of order in the House, remember that the House had already begun its business from 2:30, but the issue on the National Government Constituency Development Fund that the leader of the minority party, Honorable Opio Wandai, rose to raise in the House, indicating that the members of the National Assembly, or rather the NGCDF committees, have not received the monies at the constituency level, and the House is expected, or rather set, to proceed on a long recess that will put the constituencies at a limbo, considering the fact that in January the House will not be sitting, and it is a time or a point that most of the schools reopen, and most of the students who come from needy or vulnerable families require the funds commonly referred to as bursaries that usually cater for their school fees or financial ability in that capacity. So it is from that point that the member for the Honorable Member Opio Wandai informed the House that they need to take action as a House to ensure that the monies are disbursed before the House proceeds on recess that is slated to start from 8th of this month, after the last sitting that will be on the Thursday of 7th in the afternoon sitting. And we also saw the leader of the majority party, Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah also indicating that the House is in agreement with regards to the monies that need to reach the constituencies before the recess or before January, in order that when the schools reopen, then families who are not able to cater for their children's school fees can be able to benefit from such funds. But in his defense, or rather defending the Cabinet Secretary for Treasury and National Planning, as well as the CEO of NGCDF, the Honorable leader of a majority indicated that he had earlier on engaged the CS, Treasury and National Planning, and the CEO for the National Government Constituency Development Fund, and that they confirmed that they will be working on that particular issue, and they will be able to avail the money before the House takes its break for the long recess that is on Thursday. In this case, there are 36 constituencies that are said to have not yet submitted their proposals to the NGCDF board, and that they need to do so. However, the majority leader, or rather the party majority leader, has indicated that they noted to the NGCDF board that whether there has been availability or non-availability of the proposals, no committee or no constituency should be left out in terms of being given the monies. The member for the chair for the National Government Constituency Development Fund Committee, Honorable Musa Sirma, who also took the stand to convince the members that there are engagements that are underway between the Cabinet Secretary for Treasury and the CEO of the NGCDF board, that they have agreed to disburse the monies before the recess begins, and also indicating that they need a total of about 40% of the monies that need to cover the bursary, which is said to be the most crucial bit in terms of the NGCDF monies that assists a bigger chunk of the community, especially those from the vulnerable side of the society, or those from the lower part of the pyramid. But members, beginning from all the comments that were being made by the honorable members, the members in the chambers were not agreeing to the commitments that were being made by the honorable member Kimani Ichung'wah, who is the leader of the majority party and the chair of the NGCDF, who was saying that they have engaged the Treasury and National Planning Office, as well as the CEO, as well as the board of the NGCDF, and that they have shown some commitments to have the money disbursed before the recess begins. The members were not agreeing to those commitments that were being made by those leaders, and yet they did not buy the idea that the money will be disbursed before Thursday or before the beginning of the recess, and thereby most of the members walked out of the chambers. The members walked out of the chambers, and basically that is what has happened. The next order was read, but the leader of the minority party, Opiyo Wandayi, rose on a point of order, indicating that there is no quorum for the House to continue with the other business in the order paper for today's afternoon sitting. So basically that is what is happening, but allow me to take you to the other house of the parliament, that is the Senate, for the proceedings, as we await to see how the National Assembly will be taking up this matter. Si umeona, I think